Hi guys, this is Amy, Dragonfly. Welcome to Amy's World. I'm sharing my experiences through bipolar and addiction, and I am hearing impaired, so I do have a lisp. I'm hoping to share my experiences and hope that I can help just one person. One person who feels alone. I'm hoping maybe I could save their life if that needs to be, who knows. Even if that person is me. This is very therapeutic for me. Today was a good day on the bipolar spectrum. It's one of those up days. The wave went down. Now I'm feeling a little bit more normal. I organized everything, went down the list of things I needed to get done, finally accomplished them all. So it was a good day. I took a walk on the beach, introduced myself to somebody I didn't know. I was feeling good. So I just wanted to share that. We do have great days, and today I feel like a normal person. Well, as normal can be. I'm getting a lot of great feedback from people that I've showed them my video, and I hope I get better at doing the videos since I'm so inexperienced at it, and I'm hoping that this gets spread a little bit and can help one person. In this illness, I felt so alone my whole life. It's hard making friends, it's hard keeping friends, and on this bipolar spectrum with menopause, it's crazy. I even wrote an email to the governor today because it's so hard to find mental health help in Florida. I still can't find a doctor or a therapist after 2 years of being here. Nobody calls me back. I'm still taking my meds. I have my family doctor helping me with that, and it's just ridiculous. But I'm hanging on, keeping strong, keeping the faith. And so I emailed the governor explaining the situation and to see if he can possibly look into how hard it is to find mental health programs here in Florida. So today I would like to talk quickly about bipolar and addiction. It's been on my mind. Most people that have addiction issues have some form of mental illness. A lot of the homeless people you see on the streets, most of them have a mental illness, and they lost things, their family, their homes, their life, their jobs due to mental illness. And a lot of people find addiction in self-medication. As for me, I didn't become an addict till I was 32. It was late in life. I was diagnosed at bipolar at age 30. I'm a domestic abuse survivor. I am hearing impaired. I spent my first hospital stay when I was 30 after my first miscarriage. I didn't know anything was wrong with me. I've been suffering from depression for years. Severe depression. And my first miscarriage sent me right over the edge. I tried to commit suicide. It's still hard for me to talk about, so I'm just going to go through this quick. I ended up having 3 more miscarriages, so 4 in total, and then found out I was infertile. During the course of all that, I was drinking heavily. I was drinking a liter of wine a night, possibly more, and I tried to commit suicide. I took bottle of pills, and I woke up with throw up everywhere. And it was just, I didn't know what day of the week. I didn't know who I was. And so I took myself, actually a friend of mine took me to the hospital. My ex-husband came in my apartment. We were separated at the time and just yelled at me and left. So, hence the divorce. So anyway, I was trying to find ways to deal with the depression and the sadness. Even when I came out of the mental hospital, I was drinking myself I wanted to drink myself to death. I couldn't deal with the symptoms of depression. I couldn't deal with the highs and the lows. I never got the super, super high, just a little bit above normal and back down. I couldn't stand the thoughts of wanting to die every day. So I hid myself in addiction. I'm a cocaine crack addict. I actually found my first drug, smoking crack at I'm going to call it a yuppie party. It wasn't like in the hood, it wasn't in the streets, it wasn't at some high school party. It was doctors and lawyers and, whatever. But I took it and I ran with it because my first hit, all my problems went away. Finally, my brain stopped and I was just focusing on what the thoughts were at that moment. The depression was gone. The wanting to die was gone. The thinking about my babies were gone. Thinking about my failed marriage was gone. Everything was gone. And I do feel that's why I ran to the addiction and suffered from it for many, many years. Because after a few rehabs, therapy, lots and lots of therapy, I still had trouble battling this addiction. It's being managed right now. I'm actually doing pretty good, I believe. So I still drink. I'm taking a break from that at the moment to try to get my mood stable again. So a lot of people with mental illness, if they don't take their medication or life is just too much, going to their drug of choice is their medicine. I used that. I never loved doing drugs. I never loved any of it. I never loved crack. I did heroin for 8 months. I hated it. Most of all, I hated the addiction. So a lot of times, my addiction wasn't so much as cravings. My craving was to have a break. My mind goes like this all day, all night, all day, all night. It never, never, never stops. And, do my first hit, it stops. Everything stops. I've known to blow a lot of money on it, but I just never wanted to come back to reality because all the problems are still there. And it got to the point with my addiction, even though I knew what I was doing, I couldn't help it. It was like a bungee cord pulling me. And when I'm strong, I can hold that bungee cord nice and tight. When I'm not strong, it pulls me right back. A lot of it's the cravings, but mostly it's my head. Whether I'm medicated or not, I need a break from thinking. I know the problems are going to be there 10 hours later, 4 hours later, sometimes tenfold. But that break, a lot of times, is what I need. And I know there's a lot of people that I met in groups, they all felt the same way. So next time you see homeless people on the street or somebody you think is a scumbag because they're an addict, chances are there's underlying issues. Bipolar, for me, is my underlying issue. Depression and anger. I'm a normal person. I thought I was normal, and this addiction got the best of me for my whole life. When I moved to Florida, things was going to look up. And, I have my ups and downs down here. As a previous post, we're talking about how lonely it is. It's hard to start a new relationship with people. Because I don't want to lie about who I am. But if I tell them everything about me, I'm considered psycho, high risk, high maintenance. Nobody wants to be bothered. Actually, I started dating a guy for a minute. And I wouldn't tell him what was going on. And I told him I had to go home and take my meds. And he wanted me to stay or whatever. And I said, I can't. I gotta go home and take my meds. I cannot skip my meds. And he let it go, whatever. And then we talked about it the next time we met, and he would hound me. Why are you on meds? Why are you on meds? So I finally admitted I was bipolar, and he threw his hands up. Oh, not another one. He's like, I'm a bipolar magnet. So yeah, that's the stuff I'm going through. It's kind of funny, actually. But a lot of people have a lot of nightmare relationships with bipolar people and people that have mental illness and have the addiction piece as well. So, that's all I'm going to say for today. I think I'm at 11 minutes. I'm trying to keep this as close to 10 minutes as possible. A lot of people's attention span is not that great. But on a footnote, I want to add this, and I think it's very important, to friends and family of people with mental illness. It's very important that you look at their everyday surroundings. When they're having good days, what does their apartment look like? How do they eat? How do they look? And on the bad days, a lot of people like me, I don't want to say anything. But you can clearly see when you walk in if I'm cluttered, if my dishes aren't done, or, anything above. But the most important thing for families and friends is don't automatically sit this person down and say, what's wrong? What's wrong? You need to talk to me. Because that's not going to help. Actually pushes people like me farther away. Because a lot of times we don't know exactly what's wrong. It's just a bad day. It's just a bad week. Today's a good day. Hopefully the rest of the week will be just as good. But the best thing people can do for their family and friends that have mental illness is just to pay extra attention. Just call them a couple more times in a day. See if hey, just thinking about you, I personally don't like to be acknowledged when I'm having a bad day. Like, oh, are you having a bad day? Are you having a bipolar moment? No. But a lot of times that extra attention, that extra phone call, that I'm thinking of you, that extra text, is all I need, is all any of us with a mental illness needs. I don't like to focus on it on an everyday basis. I am doing these videos, though, as a form of therapy, and I've almost lost my own life a number of times due to my own hand, and I don't want anybody to feel that they are alone and that they feel like there's no other way out. So I hope everybody can listen to my experiences and my stories, and if I can help one person, this will be all worth it. Thank you for joining me tonight, and have a great rest of the week.